Hi everybody, TJ Mack Vintage Cards and Nostalgia here, and in today's video I'm going to talk about my 2023 collecting goals. But before I do that, I want to talk a little bit about 2022 and my approach to the hobby this past year. So one of the things I did, and you can see them here, is I started to put together the Diamond Stars set, a graded set of them, either SGC or PSA, and I might even do BVG as well. I have to be opportunistic with these cards. And I have my budget put together, and I'm going to try to stick to that as closely as I can. And I'm looking typically for grades 4 or 5. I might go a little lower than that or a little higher than that, again, being very opportunistic. So to date, I have 13 cards in the set. And in 2023, for my first goal, I want to add an additional 12 cards, at least 2 being Hall of Famers. And I can't really say who they're going to be because, again, I'm going to be opportunistic and really just work within my budget. But if I can add one a month on average over the year, that'll be pretty good. That's what I've done to date since I started committing to doing this set build. And I already have a lot of the Hall of Famers, but there are some big ones that I still do need to get. And then as I add those, it might slow my progress a little bit because those cards are going to be more costly. So if I can add 12 this year, I think that would be successful. Now, just to step back a second here, when I approach goals, I'm not going to go through these and say, oh, if I get, every one of these, it's been a successful year. Goals are good for me because they just add focus to my collecting. Doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to get everything I say I'm going to do. I just need to have a focus to drive my collecting interest and also to ensure that I have a budget and I'm trying to stick as close to it as I possibly can. So when I put my my list together, I look at the cards I want, and then I compare that to my budget and think, all right, is that doable? Just very important to me in my collecting. And that's pretty much how I plan to approach 2023. Now, what's interesting about 2022 as well is I probably bought the most cards in a long time. I bought 147 cards in 2022, but the funny thing is I didn't really buy any big cards last year. The most I spent on any one card was maybe $150. Most of my purchases were more in the $20 to $40 range, and some even less than that. And really what I was doing last year is I was looking to deepen some of the set runs, or player runs that I've already put together. I started a few different player runs like Rocky Colavito and Ken Boyer. And I'm just at that point in my collecting now where I'm just looking for like the star type players, not necessarily always the Hall of Famers anymore, because I've gotten a lot of those in the earlier years of my collecting. And I have delved into some pre-World War II, not T206 or anything like that, but some Gaudi and some Diamond Stars and even a little bit of play ball. And I'm going to continue to do that going forward. And then I'm also looking to add more Bowman cards to my collection, both football and baseball. So that's going to be a theme for this year for me and my collecting focus. So after the first goal of adding 12 more Diamond Stars to my collection, I want to add some additional hockey cards. I'm looking at my distribution of cards in my collection, and I'm very baseball and football heavy. I probably have about 15% of my collection in hockey, and that's hockey from 1953 until 1985. When I'm talking collection, my collection is 100% graded, my primary collection. So that's what I tend to focus on when I buy cards. So this year I want to add more 53 to 65 tops in Parkhurst to my collection. I'm a little light in that area, and I've already started putting some of my budget towards that. So here are just examples of cards from that era. The one in the center, the Marcel Pronovost, that's a recent addition to my collection. That's a 62 Parkhurst, and just a beautiful design with a giant puck there. And you got Pronovost in the front, who was a Hall of Fame defenseman with the Red Wings, and Maple Leafs is where he gained his most notoriety. And then you have, of course, Doug Harvey and Jean Ratelle there. So just 3 great cards, and those are the types of cards that I'm looking to add in 2023. And I have some that I've acquired, and I'm going to be sharing those in future videos. I did have a goal for 2022 that I've been unable to meet, is I'm trying to find a graded example of a Billy Shaw card to add to my collection to go along with this note that he autographed for me. It was given to me by channel The Drew of Vintage Legacy, whose content creator is Drew, who's become a good friend through the community. He goes to church with Billy Shaw, and he got this signed for me, and it says, "My best to a Bills fan, your fan, Billy Shaw, Hall of Fame, 99." And then he's got the quote here from the Bible of Proverbs 3:6. So I just wanted to share this because I want to get a nice card to go along with the index card. And from what I heard from Drew, Billy Shaw is just a great person, and he certainly was an outstanding football player. He's the only Hall of Famer in the Pro Football Hall of Fame that played his entire professional career in the AFL. So he's got that distinction. Just shows you the caliber of player he was. And he was an offensive lineman with the Buffalo Bills. A couple of cards I'm specifically targeting in 2023 are this 1961 Parkhurst Gordie Howe. And this is just a paper copy of it. It's not the real card. Okay, when I say paper, I don't mean paper card. It's a true piece of paper that I printed out. I'll get sometimes people make comments when I do this, and they'll be like, "Nice card." I don't think they're always listening to the video. This is just a paper image that I cut out of Jacques Plante and Gordie Howe. And these are both from the 61 Parkhurst set, which is one of my favorite hockey sets. I just love the background design here. And it doesn't do it justice with the yellow and the white here on the Red Wings, but you can see it clearly. It has the logo of the Canadiens in the background. So these are two that I want to add to my collection that I'm targeting for 2023. Beautiful examples. If I can get ones that look like these, I'd be very happy. Another goal I have is to add more art cards to my collection, and I'd say probably the first 18 or 19 years of my collecting, I was focused primarily just on Hall of Famers, and I put pretty much all my budget every year into acquiring cards of Hall of Famers and some superstars as well. But now I'm branching more out as I don't always like the word evolve because it makes it sound like what I was doing before wasn't the right thing necessarily. It just means that I'm expanding my collecting interests some. Into more art cards because I love display and I just like cards that have unique features to them. So one of them being this Joe Adcock up here from the 1952 Bowman set. And Eddie from the channel, Eddie's Cardboard Chaos, we've been exchanging comments back and forth on this. He acquired this card as well. And I just love the image here. I love the placement of the signature in that little box behind him. He's obviously swinging a bat there with a part of a stadium behind him. But what's really cool about this card, too, is the reference to TV. You didn't see many references to TV that early on in card history. I know they had the Drake set, I believe, in 1950 that was inside a television set. May have been an inspiration for 55 Bowman, who knows. But this card has a reference to TV there, which I find very interesting. Just kind of shows you what's to come in the sports world in the future once television became bigger and bigger. And then you have another 61 Parkhurst here that I similar to the Gordie Howe and the Jacques Plante that I showed. But this is the real card of Alex Delvecchio. Love the pink and white, I call it wallpaper behind him. Just a beautiful, vibrant image. And then the 50 Bowman set to me is very similar in some ways to the Diamond Stars set in that it has a lot of fun and unique images behind it, 50 Bowman football. And this is just a common player out of the set, Ken Carpenter, but you can see behind him the shadows of all of these players supposedly maybe trying to run at him or block the ball. It just makes for a very interesting image, and you can just see the hair tasseled up there in the air, and just a wonderful image of early 50s football here that I enjoy. Just such a classic shot. And the backgrounds on these 50 Bowmans are just so unique and fun to look at. So I'm going to be adding more 50 Bowman football to my collection in 2023. So just love the art cards, and these are 3 great examples of them. You can see I'm very low-tech in my videos. I just print out images of cards that I want to acquire. I just don't have time for editing and all that, and I just like the continuity of just speaking directly to you, and just kind of as I get thoughts in my head, I like to just share them. So 2 other cards that I want to add to my collection this year, and one of them here, this Ed Sprinkle, is very hard to find in the condition that I want to get it. It's hard to find, period. This is a 51 Bowman Ed Sprinkle rookie. He was known as the Claw. He was one of the meanest, nastiest players that ever played football. He is a Hall of Famer. This is the only card of a mainstream issue that I'm aware of that was made of him. It's not a cheap card, and again, it's not real easy to locate. If I could find one like this for a reasonable price, I would be thrilled, but that's one I definitely wanted to add to my collection if I can find it. And then the big purchase for this year is likely going to be a 55 Bowman Mickey Mantle in a grade 5. Could be SGC or PSA. I want to really add a Bowman Mantle to my collection. I have his Topps cards from 56 to 1969, so I'd like to at least get one Bowman to add. So that's going to be my goal for my big card of the year. And as I said before, I didn't really buy a big card last year, so I guess it's time that I do add another one to my collection. I would also like to add 10 newsstand magazines to my collection this year. When I say newsstand, ones without the subscription labels on the front, I don't want them removed. I want true newsstand issues that you had to pick up from your local store in order to acquire it, not through the mail. Those are much rarer than the subscription issues. And I'm looking, like I said, to add 10 more. I have some in mind, but I have to be fairly open-minded because they're a lot harder to find than issues that are subscription issues. So here's just a few examples from my collection. And then finally, the one last thing I want to do this year is I do want to send out more like care packages to other members of the community. I've been showing a lot of kindness and like to start repaying that sum. I'm not a contest person. You're never going to see a contest from my channel. I'm not looking to grow my channel. I don't fault people who do it. It's just not my goal as a content creator. I just like to share cards, and I just want my channel to grow organically, just through people who like my content. And if I comment on other people's videos, I do try to leave thoughtful comments when I can, because I do appreciate when people leave them to me. And I appreciate when people watch my videos. So if I'm leaving a comment to your video, that means I'm watching and enjoying your content. And just want to appreciate everything everybody's doing in the community. And I do appreciate all the support that I get from my channel. But just know that I'm not looking to grow it in that way. I'm not looking to monetize or have thousands of subs or anything like that. I just enjoy the give and take, and I'm really grateful that I'm able to respond to all my comments and everything like that on my videos, because it's manageable given my schedule and everything. So with that, I just want to appreciate everybody's time, and you all have a great day.